some activities during the Christmas holiday?
I just went to someone's house because there's a program.
Very nice. So here in our, where we are, there was a 3-hour kirtan in the temple. So we went and participated in the kirtan and offered the prayers to Lord. Yes.
I went to the program and there was a play of the Brahmana and the cobbler where they told Narad Muni to ask the Lord Krishna in how many years they will be in how many lifetimes they will be returning, and the cobbler would be like returning at the end of the lifetime because the Brahmana had a lot of those people.
Yeah. Very nice. Thanks for sharing that. What was the moral of the story? What was the message?
I think it is that you should not have lost ego.
It is what?
Oh, that's not the message. I mean, the story they told the message that it is like one who I forgot the message, but that's moral.
Yeah. So the message is that the real thing is the devotion in the heart, right? Not the external. Even though he was a Brahmana, even though he was like, serving the Lord in very close, sevas or services that he had, but his devotion wasn't as he wasn't. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us this pure faith, pure love. That message that was more in cobbler. Although he was doing a job of a cobbler, which is the shoemaking, but his devotion was very pure. So that's why he, the message was that he would return back to Godhead even sooner. So what Krishna sees is actually devotion of your heart, not the external things that we can offer, not the, all other things that come with it. Yeah, very nice. Thanks for sharing that, Manohar. Yes, Mika, you had to say something.
Mataji, I did something unique this year. I made like envelopes, so I made them like construction paper, and then I made things and I put it in there like appreciation notes and songs and all and I gave it to my mom, dad, and sister.
Oh, that is very sweet gift, Christmas gift.
And I want to say Santa Claus is not real.
Yeah. But Krishna is real. And Krishna is everywhere. And he's fulfilling everybody's needs and desires. Right? So, okay. So we'll get started. So we are on the 4th chapter of the book, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. So before we get into the 4th chapter, which is what? Knowing Krishna as he is, I will quickly go to
Mataji?
Yes.
I thought we already started the 4th chapter last class.
Yes, we are in the middle of the 4th chapter, but we will do a quick recap until where we read. Okay. And before that recap, we will just look at the index where we are in the book, because it's always good to see things in a flowing way, right? The first chapter, what we learn? Choosing human and animal lives, right? The animal lives and the human lives, and how even though the difference in the consciousness, right? Even though people might be in the human life, but if they do the 4 things which animals do, then we are still like kind of living in the same consciousness as animals. Okay. Then the hard struggle for happiness, right? The material happiness, the spiritual happiness, which is permanent in nature, and the struggles that we, put into achieving something that is temporary, that's a hard struggle. Then next we learn towards the peaceful society, how to live in harmony, right? With all the living beings, with the nature, right? Then the fourth chapter, we are learning Krishna, knowing Krishna as he is. Okay, so we'll see what did we learn in the fourth chapter so far. So far, knowing Krishna, what are the few shlokas? I'll just highlight few shlokas, and then we get to the page where we left off last week. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us, right? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware, bhaktat bhaktir ahituikitvai. That means that I have no desire to accumulate wealth. I don't have desire to enjoy beautiful moments, nor do I have number of followers. What I want is your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshastakam, shloka number 4. Then few things we learned. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about in relation to knowing Krishna. What is Krishna saying? Trebhir gunamayir bhavair ebhe sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mam ebhya paramavyayam. Krishna is saying that this three bhir means three means three, bhir gunamayir bhavair, that means deluded by the three modes of this nature, which are what? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. The whole world does not know me. Who am I? Who am above them? So Krishna is above these modes of material nature. That's what he's saying. He is transcendental. He doesn't have to do anything with this material nature. He's above that, and he's inexhaustible. Param avyayam. Avyayam means he's above all that, and he's permanent, like he's eternal. Okay, then avyayam also, which does not exhaust. Like in material thing, everything exhausts. Our life, our time, right? Everything diminishes slow. But that's not how avyayam. Avyayam means eternal. Then we learn Tava Kara Kamalavare, that verse we learn, right? This is Narsingh Aarti verse that we read. Oh my Lord, your hands are very beautiful, like lotus flower, but with your long nails you have ripped apart the wasp Hiranyakashipu. Onto you, Lord of the universe, I offer my humble obeisances. Who is saying that? This is Prahlad Maharaj's prayers to the Lord, Narsinghadev, that past time, right? Then few things we learned. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam proktam sutra manigana iva. Krishna is saying, I am the thread which is holding everything. As the pearls are strung on the necklace, that through the string that is inside, so Krishna, and which is holding it all together. That's how Krishna's energy is. Knowing Krishna holds everything, all this together. That's how Krishna is the center of everything. Okay, so those are the things we learned last week. So we stopped at this shloka from Brahmaji. What is Brahma's prayers for Lord Krishna? We talked about the book Brahma Samhita. Remember? He's offering. Yes, go ahead, Manohar.
Okay, so it was like, so he was just offering prayers to Krishna because he stole all his friends and calves, and he hid them in a cave.
Yeah.
How can I find the verse?
Yeah.
Okay. Chintamani Prakarasamastu Kalpavriksha
Very nice.
Daksarechu Surabhi
Okay.
Abhinavarantam Lakshmi
Samharam Sevyamanam.
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Yeah. So these are the prayers offered by Brahma to Lord Krishna. And these prayers, he's explaining what? He's explaining about Lord Krishna, who he is, his abode, where he is, right? In his abode, one of few of the things that Lord Brahma is highlighting is Chintamani. The stones are like Chintamani, right? And Kalpa Vriksha, the trees are like Kalpa Vriksha. Kalpa Vriksha means to fulfill the desire. So like that, Lord Brahma is giving all the details. Yes, Mihika, you have to share?
Mataji, can I read the shloka?
Yes, go ahead.
चिन्तामणि प्रकरसद्मशुकल्पवृक्ष लक्षावृतेषु सुरभिरपि पालयन्तं लक्ष्मीसहस्रशतसम्भ्रमसेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
Very nice. So let's read the translation and then we'll continue from here. Okay, so who would like to read the translation? Jyotsna, you'd like to read the translation?
Okay. I worship Govinda, the primeval lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, fulfilling all desire, in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of wish-fulfilling trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. Hare Krishna is called the original person, Adi Purusham. We are all persons. Our Father is a person, and therefore we are persons. If we trace our father's father back, we will find that he was also a person, and that his father was a person, and so on all the way back to Lord Brahma, who was the first created person in this universe. Then we will also find that Lord Brahma's father, Vishnu, is also a person. Everyone is a person, and Krishna is the supreme person. The impersonality's understanding of God is called Nirachara.
Mhm.
Nih means negative and Archa means form. So Nirachara means negative form. The impersonalities are mistaken when they think that God has no form at all. The word Nirachara does not indicate that he has no form, but that he has no material form, as we do. Form is there, but it is not material. It is a spiritual form.
Very nice. So, Lord is a person, right? Sat, Chit, Ananda, Vigraha. Vigraha. So, Sat, we all know what does it mean? Sat means? Sat means?
True.
Yes, true, absolute. That means eternal, like forever. It's like absolute. It is going to be there forever. That's eternal. That's Sat. Then Chit means fully knowledgeable. Hmm? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Ananda means bliss, fully
Yes.
blissful. And then Vigraha. Vigraha means that's something that has form. So that's what Brahma is offering the prayers here. And he's saying that, like we are a person, right? Our ancestors, our father, he's a person. Although he's a father, but he's a person. And then and so on. Like if we trace back, all these are personalities, right? As ancestors. Such like Krishna is saying, like Lord Brahma is explaining that he is the Satchit Ananda Vigraha. He is the person. That means that doesn't mean that he has a material form like us. No, he doesn't have a material form like us, but his form is there, and that is spiritual. Okay, very nice. What is the value of our form? This form will be changed after a few years. As soon as we give up the body, our forms are changed, just as we change our suit and dresses. But God doesn't have a form like this. Therefore, he is something called Nirarcha. Form is there, and that also has been explained in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma describes his form as in this way. Mika, you want to read this? Venum.
Sure, Mataji. Venum kwanantamaravindadalayataksam barhavatam sam asitambudasundaragam कन्दर्पकोटिकमनीयविशेषशोभं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अञ्जानि यस्य शकलेन्द्रियवृत्तमानि पश्यन्ति पान्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मयसदुज्ज्वलविग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
Very nice. Translation. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept at playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with the head bedecked with the peacock feather, with the figure of beauty tinged with his hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupid. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, and substantially and substantiality, and is thus full of most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged function of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. So Brahma is explaining that how Lord is describing the beauty of the Lord, right? That Lord is, he plays on the flute. He wears the peacock feather, and his beauty is tinged with the hue of blue clouds. So he's explaining the beauty of the Lord here. Then in the verse, Lord Brahma is saying that each limb, like we have these hands, and hand can do only the things of hand, right? Can the hand speak? No. Can the hand eat? No. Can the eyes listen? No. So, like that, Lord Brahma is saying here that each limb of the Lord he can do, he's complete, and he can do all the functions by every organ. So, that's how Lord is transcendental. So, it's beyond our imagination at this point to think like, when we offer prasad to the Lord just looks at it, right? And we consider that then prasad that is offered, right? But Krishna says, I accept it. That means just by seeing, he has eaten it, right? So Lord's eyes can, accept the prasadam just by even looking at it. That's how Lord is transcendental. Right now, it's hard for us to imagine because we are just, our limitation, our understanding of body is just very limited, right? Just to what we can perceive through this body. But, Krishna's body is not like material body like us. He's transcendental. That's what Lord Rama is explaining here. This form has nothing whatsoever to do with the material form. Impersonalists say, oh, you say Krishna has the form. If so, how can you say that he is the supreme? The impersonal Brahman is the supreme. and impersonal Brahman is formless. But if we have information from Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is the source of the impersonal Brahman, we learn from Bhagavad Gita as Krishna is the source of this impersonal Brahman. That even that Brahman is one of the energies of the Lord, right? It's the effulgence of the Lord. That's one of the forms. It's one of the three forms of the Lord: Brahma, Paramatma, and Swayam Bhagavan. Okay, so let's keep reading. Brahmano hi pratishtanam amritasya swaya shasvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya kantikshaya cha. I am, Bhagavad Gita 14:27. I am the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is immortal and imperishable, eternal, and the constitutional position of the ultimate happiness. See, Krishna is saying here that he is the source of the ultimate happiness. I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, and which is immortal, imperishable, eternal, the constitutional position of the ultimate happiness. So, this is knowing Krishna as his. That the chapter is knowing Krishna. So, we are learning about Krishna, how he is. So, reading ahead, Krishna certainly has form, but his form, as stated before, is Satchid Ananda Vigraha, eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge. The attribute of this transcendental body are summarized by Lord Brahma in this way. Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchid Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, the Supreme Godhead, he has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is an origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. He is Krishna. So Ishvaraha means he is the controller. That is Ishvara. Paramaha means he is the supreme. So he is the controller. He is the supreme. He is Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. He is eternal. He is full of knowledge. He is full of bliss, and he has a form. Anadir Adir. Anadir means he doesn't have any beginning, and Adir, he doesn't have any end. Govinda. His name is Govinda. He is Govinda. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Okay. Do you understand this verse? It's very important verse, one of the first verse of Brahma Samhita. Very beautiful and easy to memorize also. We should all memorize this verse. Okay. The word Govinda means he who gives pleasure to the senses, who perceives pleasure through our senses. And therefore Krishna, who is the reservoir of pleasure, is called Govinda. If we serve Krishna with purified senses, we will begin to relish the pleasure of that supreme reservoir. How can we describe God or understand his glories? It is not possible. God is ultimate. Regardless of our finite limitation, however, we can express our own feelings and say, my God, my Lord, this will be accepted. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us this prayer in this way. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavan budhau kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaye. O son of Nanda Maharaj, I am your eternal servitor, and although I am so, somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please, therefore, pick me from this ocean of death and fix me as an atom at your lotus feet. Sikshastakam, verse 5. So we all know Sikshastakam, right? We also discussed what is Sikshastakam. There are 8 verses, so we learned the 4th, and then this is the 5th one. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching that we are just one atom. We are fell down in this ocean of birth and death. And he's praying to the Lord, pick me up and place me as an atom at your lotus feet. Okay. Who would like to read a little bit? This should be the standard of prayers. We should only. Yes, go ahead. Mika, you want to go?
Yes, Mataji. This should be the standard of prayer. We should only want to be placed as one of the atoms at Krishna's lotus feet to render some service unto him. Everyone is praying to God with some interest, but even if we pray to God, give me some money, give me some relief, give a nice house, a nice wife, or nice food, that is also good. Yet this is not to the standard of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer. Our only prayer should be that the Lord enable us to serve him birth after birth. Our prayer should be, Lord, dear Lord, you are so great that I want to engage in your service. I have been serving all these rascals and I am not satisfied. Now I have come to you. Please engage me in your service. This is the last word in prayer.
Right.
Some
So,
people
Shikshastakam's last verse say what? That we, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that, oh my dear Lord, you just, what he's asking is just pure devotional service to the Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that, now I have come to you, please engage me in your service. What is this actually? This is, when we are asking, isn't this love? So this is how, when we are asking other things, then we are going to the Lord just for gaining something. And what are we gaining? We ask for things, this, that. And if Lord fulfills, well and good. If Lord doesn't fulfill by, our destiny, if we are not destined to get those things, if those things are not fulfilled for us, then what do? We feel like, okay, Lord, so is that love? That isn't that a business? Okay, I go and ask, and then Lord provides me, and then I in turn have some feelings for him, but that's business, right? Like, Lord gives me something, I give something. Is that love? No. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us this pure service to the Lord, pure devotional service to the Lord from our hearts, he's longing nothing else than just being engaged in the service of the Lord. That's actually pure love. Because why would you serve someone without anything you want in return? Our parents do, right? Yes, Manhar.
So kind of, I wanted to give that example. If you go to your parents and you ask them for a toy, they will definitely give you, but that's not really love. And if you go ask them to do something for them, they will feel the love, and you will also feel the love. And Krishna is our supreme Father, so we have to do.
Yes, very nice. Thank you.
Mataji.
Mhm.
Is the last verse of Shishtashtakam like the one that says the translation, as far as I remember, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that about Krishna, like he's like he takes about he worships like the God Lord Krishna, and he describes about Lord Krishna like the 8th verse.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So you can continue, Mihika.
Where
I have been
people,
serving. Yeah, go ahead.
some people complain that when they pray to God, they do not feel his presence. We should know that this is due to our incapacities, not God's conception, not God, not God's. There are two conceptions and presence: the physical conception and the vibrational conception. The physical conception is temporary, whereas the vibrational conception is eternal. When we enjoy or relish the vibration of Krishna's teachings in Bhagavad Gita, or when we chant Hare Krishna, we should know that by those vibrations he is immediately present. He is absolute, and because of this, his vibration is just as important as his physical presence. When we feel separation from Krishna or the spiritual master, we should just try to remember their words of instructions, and we will no longer feel that separation. Such association with Krishna and the spiritual master should be association by vibration, not physical presence. This is real association. We put so much stress on seeing, but when Krishna was present on this earth, so many people saw him and did not realize that he is God. So what is the advantage of seeing?
Yes.
Mataji, should I finish the paragraph?
Yes, please.
Okay. By seeing Krishna, we will not understand him, but by listening carefully to his teachings, we can come to the platform of understanding. We can touch Krishna immediately by sound vibration. Therefore, we should give more stress to the sound vibration of Krishna and of the spiritual master. Then we'll feel happy and won't feel separation.
Yes. So, do we have access to Lord Krishna right now? We cannot see him, we cannot feel his presence, but can we chant his name? We can, right? And because Lord is absolute, his name, his form, his abode, they're not different from the Lord. They have the equal potency as the Lord. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stressed that and he came, he took, he appeared in Mayapur in Bengal to give us this process, at the beginning of Kali Yuga to all the jivas who are seeking to go back. So he opened the doors of pure love to attain that pure love through the means of what? Chanting, which is accessible, right? And slowly, gradually, one day, once the soul gets purified, what is that first verse of Shikshastakam? Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Once that Cheto Darpana Marjanam means once that cleanses the heart, filled with the dust, with these impurities, contamination, that's when we will be able to see Krishna. But the process is through just following the principles, chanting the Lord's name, purifying ourselves within and from within, from our hearts. Okay. So from Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll continue reading a little more. I think we should be towards the end of the chapter here. Yes, so we will continue to read that and then we'll finish the chapter today. From Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that when Krishna departed from this world, Arjuna was overwhelmed with sorrow. But when he began to remember the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, he became pacified. Arjuna was Krishna's constant friend. So when Krishna went to his abode, Arjuna was overwhelmed. But just by remembering his teachings, he got relieved from the pain of separation. Thus, whenever we feel separation, it is best to remember the teachings. The teachings of Bhagavad Gita were imparted to Arjuna for his happiness and for the happiness of all men. This is indicated by Krishna at the beginning of the 10th chapter, when he says, Bhuya eva mahabaho shruno me paramam vachah yatte ham priyamanaya vakshyami hita kamayaya. Almighty armed Arjuna, listen to my supreme word. I shall impart to you the most for you to you for your benefit and which will give you the great joy. And what was that? Then that Lord is describing in that chapter. He's describing the pure devotion. The 10th chapter describes about the devotional service of the Lord. By hearing the words of Lord Krishna, the following them carefully, we will again not only peace in the world, but we will attain not only peace in the world, but the supreme peace, Param Shantim. All that is required is that we seek refuge in the lotus feet of Krishna and render service unto him by chanting his glories and pushing this Krishna consciousness movement in every town and village of the world. It is Krishna's promise that by such surrender, peace and eternal life will come automatically. Tam eva saranam Gaccha sarvam bhavena bharata tat pratsadat param shantim sthanam prapyasi sarvatam shasvatam. O Scion of Bharat, surrender unto him in all the respects, so that by his mercy you can have transcendental peace and eternal abode. Shasvatam means permanent. And what is the opposite of Shasvat? Ashashvat, which is temporary. So see, Lord is giving us the final destination, the eternal peace, Param Shantim, right? The eternal abode. And we just take to this message of Bhagavad Gita. People are so lost in this world. Otherwise, what do we do? Otherwise, we just wake up, go to work, and have the families. Children will get up in the morning, go to school, come back, year after year, finish their education, finish their graduation, go to work. Again, the same thing. We'll have families to attain to, and then that's how we come to the old age, and then we leave the body, right? That's just a regular course of action happening everywhere, every step, everywhere around us. But whoever is so fortunate to get to this message of Bhagavad Gita, who listens, who by the mercy of Guru gets this message of Bhagavad Gita, here is finally what Krishna is saying. You get Param Shantim, that is eternal peace. And Prapsyasi Sthanam. Sthanam means the place. The place that you will get is Shashvat, is eternal abode. That's what this verse is, the final verse of 18th chapter, and one of the final instructions of Lord Krishna. And so knowing Krishna attains, the highest happiness, the highest, place for us to, have that or state or consciousness that we can reciprocate that love, the bond of love with the Lord Krishna in his abode and be part of all his pastimes and leelas. That is knowing Krishna. That's elevation to Krishna. That is elevation through Krishna consciousness. Okay. So each chapter is giving, how we elevate. We elevate and raise ourselves from where we are to the eternal abode of the Lord. Okay. So we finished the chapter. We have few minutes. I would like to see if anybody would like to ask any questions or share any realization or share anything that they want to share that we have heard or something that inspires us. Yes, go ahead, Mihika.
Mataji, one realization that I have from the elevation of Krishna consciousness chapter 4 was that we think that Krishna is not present there, or anywhere, but but Krishna's actually there. We
Mm.
just don't have the capability to see or hear him or feel the vibrations. But
Mm.
once we get a habit of doing of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or
Yeah.
doing more Krishna conscious activities, one day we'll at least get to hear Krishna's voice or
Yes.
vibration. We'll at least get to feel the vibrations that Krishna is actually there,
Yes.
instead of thinking that Krishna is not present.
Yes. And that we should be very desperate for that moment. And what will take us there is chanting the holy name, purifying our hearts, and
And
being
if
in. Mhm.
and if we want some help, we should make a spiritual master,
Yes.
so
We
we
have
could
to.
get guidance, and we
Yes.
have to, because
Yes.
if you don't, you basically are not learning anything. Because how did you learn how to do ABCD or anything? How did you learn to do that? With the teacher.
Right.
So even if it's your parents or your teacher, you need someone to teach you, because
Yes.
like people take help from Google, or YouTube, but still YouTube's kind of your teacher because it's teaching you.
Yes. Correct.
So we need a teacher to learn something.
Hmm.
And Mataji had a question.
Hmm. Go ahead.
When when people say that only for one type of religion God exists, and for others God doesn't, and say is I had an example. So a girl, she said that only Christians have belief in God and others don't. So Indians do not have it. And
Mm.
at that time, should you speak up or should you just stay quiet?
Um, Prabhupada said that Krishna consciousness is on the level of, first of all, on the soul, right? What is the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita teaches us? Second chapter is the first time Krishna is starting to give any instruction, right? In the
Yes.
first chapter, it is all Arjuna speaking, right? He's morose, he's unhappy, and he's sad, right? Second chapter is where Krishna is starting to give the instruction. So, what is the first instruction Krishna is giving? That we are not the body, right? So it's a higher understanding that if that girl is saying that Christians have that belief in God and others do not. So we have to try to understand, first of all, that, this is for our own understanding, and then we'll talk about how to reciprocate at that point. But for our own understanding, first, let's understand this, that when we are talking about that we are not the body, that means we are the soul, right? And that Christian came from where? Being born into a Christian family, isn't it? If that same soul was born into um, a Sikh family, then they would call themselves Sikh, right? And if they were born in the Muslim family, then they would call them as Muslims. So, and if they were born in a Jewish family, then they would call them Jewish, correct? So, they are saying that religion is based on the place where you're born. Is it correct? Right? I mean, that's their understanding, right? That's how they are understanding, right? But is that correct understanding? Because if the same soul is born in other religion, then their religion changes. So that's temporary religion. That's not the eternal religion, that means. When we are talking about Krishna is talking about the soul, he's talking about Shashvat, that is permanent, that is Sanatan, that is eternal. Hmm? And what is that eternal aspect? Is the soul. So soul's only religion is the eternal religion, which is that he is the part and parcel of Krishna, right? That's the understanding. Now, how to deal with the question is how to, react to such a person, or how to deal with that person. So we can politely say, yes, and we can introduce Krishna consciousness, to them. And we can say that Krishna consciousness You know how Prabhupada said that if somebody understands Krishna consciousness, even if they are Christians, they become better Christians. So there is no question of, or there is no aspect of changing their religion. They just become the good human beings. So that is the real religion, the religion of love, the religion of peace, the religion of harmony. That is that's the highest religion. So it doesn't matter externally if we are born into some faith or some particular this. So that's how we can, and if they understand this higher principles of love and their religion, first of all, the first question is, why are they following the religion? To attain what? To gain some things? Because love is not anything about gaining. Love is only giving and serving. Right? So if we talk to them like this, if we introduce them to this higher principles of the soul, then they can be Christians, but they will be very good Christians. They will be very good human beings. So there is nothing wrong in person being born into certain faith, right? But following Krishna consciousness, they will elevate themselves from the platform of this temporary body to the eternal soul. Okay, so we can explain these things to them, and I'm sure they will, they will understand when it is done with pure intentions, not in the mood of debate, not in the mood of showing somebody down or putting ourselves above anybody else. If those moods are not there, if just the pure intention of ours is to explain them or introduce them to this higher understanding of soul, and which is above this this body, then they will get that vision slowly.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Manahar, Jyotsna, anything you guys want to share? Anything?
Can I share something?
Yes, go ahead, Manahar.
So like in this book, Brahmaji is there's verses of Brahma Samhita, and Brahmaji is offering obeisances to Krishna. And if people think um that that like Krishna is not, they don't believe in Krishna, and they say Krishna is not God. In all the scriptures, they say Krishna is God.
Yes, Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. That also is said along with Brahmaji. Vedvyas also says that in Bhagavatam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Okay. Okay, anything else for today?
Can I say something, Mataji?
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, like every class that I go to for these classes, I learned something new. But for this class, something that stuck out to me was about the person. Everybody is a person, and when we trace back to the origin, that Lord Krishna is also a person. He's the supreme person, which makes him our father.
Yes. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Sat means eternal. Chit means fully knowledgeable. Ananda means fully blissful. And Vigraha means that has a form. He's a person. He's a personality. And he has feelings just like we do, right? We have feelings. So when we do some little things for the Lord, although he doesn't need, there are Sahasra Lakshmis serving him. He doesn't need our offerings. He doesn't need our, seva that we do, but he accepts it out of love. So who will do that if they are a person, right? If they have that, if it is just the energy, then there's no question of any reciprocation of love or bonds between that bond of love happens between the two people, between the two persons. That's how Lord is Satchidananda Vigraha. Okay, thank you for sharing all nice things, all nice listeners, and wonderful little devotees here. Okay, so I think we'll end here today. A little early. Yes, go ahead, Anahar.
Mataji, there's a bhajan by Bhakti Vinod Thakur called Nadia Go Godoro Nityananda Mahajan, and it says Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhana Pran. So that's how Krishna is our mother, father, and everything.
Everything, yes, eternally everything. He's the best friend, he is the mother, he is the father, and eternally everything. Thank you, Manahar. Okay, so we will end here, and then we'll see you next week. And you all have a happy, very happy new year. I'll see you on Monday next week. Let's welcome with the prayer, the new year with the prayers in the hearts that, Krishna keeps us engaged more and more. And as we get closer and closer to him, as these years pass by, the new year also means that the 1 year that we have passed is less in our journey back to him. So that's another reason to be happy, so in our journey back to Krishna. So with that, we'll end here with our prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda